understand she'll be giving her testimony in Spanish, and Jeff Hardin will be translating that testimony here.
Mi nombre es Patricia Duran. Soy mujer y se me considera minoría en este país, pero que antes de hacer mi presentación debo empezar con la pregunta: ¿de qué sirve tener una patente si no puedo defenderla?
I am a woman. I'm considered a minority in this country. I appreciate the intent behind the Success Act, but I must start with this question. What good is a patent if you cannot feasibly defend it?
Con respecto a esta ley de Success Act, estoy seguro.
Regarding the Success Act, I am certain you will hear this theme from all independent inventors. Women, minorities, and veterans, once they receive a patent, are actually in the same predicament as all independent inventors and small businesses. With the current state of the patent law in the United States, independent inventors and small businesses cannot adequately license the patents they receive with larger financially abled entities, the represented class, nor can they enforce their patents against this class when their patents are stolen. This is because this represented class can simply bleed the underrepresented class dry, legally and financially, by taking advantage of today's current patent laws.
Por lo tanto, aunque perseguir la igualdad de oportunidades que las mujeres simplemente será una doctrina falsa.
So, although pursuing equal opportunity with women, minorities, and veterans in obtaining a patent is a valuable effort, if it does not coincide with equal outcome and one's ability to utilize the patent once received, regardless of the person's financial state, telling women, minorities, and veterans that they stand to benefit from a patent will simply be a false doctrine.
Después de haberle aportado la aclaración anterior, deseo contarles un capítulo de la historia de mi vida. Soy sobreviviente de cáncer.
Now that I've provided the above clarification, I will tell you a chapter in the story of my life. I'm a cancer survivor. I was diagnosed with breast cancer 3 months after my daughter was born. I'm almost 3 years into my fight. After being diagnosed, I received a double mastectomy, but as it turned out, my diagnosis was incorrect. A second biopsy of my lymph nodes was performed during the surgery, and it was revealed that my lymph nodes, in fact, had been compromised. The result was irreversible torture, and I had to relive this multiple times. During this double surgery attempt, my mastectomy had already been completed, but my plastic surgeon was already midway into his reconstructive procedure. Because my lymph nodes were compromised, he had to suspend his work, leaving me with a diamond-shaped incision going from hip to hip, and plastic silicone sheets were to remain in my abdomen until I had undergone full chemotherapy and radiation therapy. And then I would have to come back and undergo surgery again to complete the rest of the procedure. I had complications, and my reconstructive surgery failed 3 times. I have not only endured and continue to suffer physical pain as a result of these surgeries, but I also endure psychological pain every day when I look in the mirror as a reminder. My scars remind me of the battle I fight, and every day is a gift. So how did this story relate to patents? Well, given that I endured misdiagnosis, the fact that medical diagnosis methods can be considered patent ineligible is concerning. The cure of my cancer today is merely playing a game of statistics. But is there something better? For example, can more work be done in immunotherapies and other discoveries? Are discoveries now being thrown out? The Constitution includes discoveries, and so does the patent statute. Jeff will speak more on these, but this is my testimony, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my comments with you here today. Thank you, Patricia, and I thank the Patent Office for allowing me to comment here today. I can personally vouch for Ms. Duran and her testimony here. I'm her husband. Her being alive today and our children still having a mother is a testament to a strong patent system. And moving forward, I fear that our current weak patent system will fail us not only in medicine, but in artificial intelligence, robotics, computer software, and many other disciplines. As shown by the testimony of my wife and her misdiagnosis, we need continued innovation in these disciplines. Now, on to minorities and women. I will quote 2 of them. First, a woman and a Latina, like Patricia here, Supreme Court Justice Sotomayor. In the oral argument of return mail in February of 2019, Justice Sotomayor said this of the post-grant view proceedings here at the Patent Office: "It does seem like the deck is stacked against a private citizen who is dragged into these proceedings." 2 points. 1, Justice Sotomayor did not say it seems like the deck is stacked against a woman or a minority or a veteran. She said private citizen. And this is the one thing that makes the patent system resemble America. A patent is not based on the color of your skin, your gender, your race, or otherwise. A patent is based solely on the merits of the claimed invention and nothing more. And 2, this reinforces what Patricia has already stated here. When it comes to patent challenges within the system Congress created with the America Invents Act in 2011, Congress unintentionally created an underrepresented class, the independent inventor and small business. And this brings me to my second minority woman, of whom I will quote House Representative Sheila Jackson Lee of Texas. Let's set the stage, shall we? June 23rd, 2011, the American Invents Act is being disclosed and discussed on the floor. Congresswoman Jackson Lee rises to offer an amendment, and she says, "My amendment speaks to the vast population of startups and small businesses that are impacted by this legislation. Small business makes up a large portion of our employer network. It is important to understand how they will be impacted as a result of patent reform." And this one is key. Small businesses should be as comfortable going to the patent office as our large businesses. Without strong protection of patents, businesses will lack the incentive to attract customers and contribute to economic growth. So what happened to that investment that Ms. Jackson Lee mentioned? Well, according to the Alliance for the United States Startups and Inventors for Jobs, the USIJ, in the strategic sectors of core internet networking, wireless communications, internet software, operating system software, semiconductors, pharmaceuticals, drug discovery, surgical devices, and medical supplies, venture capital funding has dropped from being 20.95% of the total VC funding in 2004 to a mere 3.22% in 2017. The VC money is gone. Congress was put on notice that they need to be careful to allow opportunity for investors, and Congress must continue to look at this bill to ensure that it responds to that opportunity. Given the evidence showing investors fleeing these sectors, now is the time to look at that bill and its consequences. Not to lawyers, not to big business, but to the true stakeholders, the American inventors. Where are they in the conversation? And are they being left out? Per the 2017 AIPLA report of the Economic Survey, the estimated mean cost of a post-grant review proceeding through appeal runs at $450,000. This is how much it costs a patent holder for a single post-grant review proceeding. There are still problems with who are the real parties of interest. What about gang tackling and serial attacks, etc.? But for a single post-grant review, a patent holder, the independent inventor, will need just shy of $500,000. And with stats showing the kill rate for patents at the PTAB between 75 to 85%, no attorney is going to take this on contingency, especially when there are no damages on mere success at the patent office. This cost is on the inventor's dime. And this is just to reach the same state of reliance that previously existed on the day a patent was granted before the American Invents Act went into effect. In other words, if you don't have $500,000 to spare for a single patent challenge at the patent office, you will not find representation if you ever want to license your patent or someone does the math and challenges you, or if you want to protect your patent when someone else steals your invention. Is this a fair shake? Does a patent give women, minorities, and veterans any real benefit? Or all independent inventors, or small businesses for that matter? With a patent system like this, the question that arises, if you were to encourage these groups, women, minorities, and veterans, to get more patents, it's not, what are we doing for them, but what are we getting them into? Because they have no idea. So what is the legislative recommendation that the Success Act is looking for from this office and from stakeholders? How do we create equal outcome so that equal opportunity even presents an incentive worth pursuing? That recommendation is this. The Patent Office must recommend to Congress that if Congress wants to keep their American Invents Act system that created the represented and underrepresented classes, Congress must recognize the underrepresented class in the statute. And doing this is simple. Recognize patents where the inventors or a small business owned solely by the inventors retain ownership of the patent. These are not the so-called patent trolls. These are the true American innovators trying to start a company in their garage. They're the ones who own their patents. They retain ownership of it. Establish and identify them, inventors who own their patents, in the statute. This is the true underrepresented class. Give them preference when it comes to their patents being challenged. If it's more economical and faster to go to the PTAB, then they'll go. If not, then they'll stay in the traditional Article III court. Give them proper venue, 1400B, in places where they perform the research, for example. The face of the patent says that the patent holder has the right to exclude others. They should have that right when it comes to injunctions. Once Congress does this, the playing field will be more level. Independent inventors and small businesses and all women, minorities, and veterans who reside there in those categories, they will all have a more equal outcome. And that baby that has been thrown out with the bathwater, as Iancu mentioned, will have been safely taken out of the bathtub before the bathwater has been tossed. And the patent bargain will be worth pursuing again for the underrepresented group you wish to promote. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jeff. Thank you, Patricia, very much for your testimony today.